You're listening to E-Commerce Uncensored with Kevin Manel and Jason Caruso.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on another episode of E-Commerce Uncensored. This is episode number 190. My name is Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso.
190, Jason. I feel like it was just yesterday we did 100. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been very consistent.
We've been good about it.
We've been good about it. I mean, we missed a couple of days when we did some traveling. But yeah, we've been pretty consistent, and it's been helpful that we've been able to interview people because it allows us to not have to come up with topics every week, which is challenging for us. I mean, especially with COVID, we don't have the same experiences. We're working from home a little bit more. We're not in the office bitching about customers and, you know, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. And it's like always we sit here and we're like, what are we going to talk about today?
yeah.
I wonder if it's that hard for other podcasts. I guess most of the other podcasts I listen to, they usually do the interview thing. So maybe that's just like they have a steady roll of interviews that they do. But yeah, it's definitely helped, and it's definitely been cool.
And it's nice too, man. Getting to talk to these people. I mean, today we have a really, really cool, and it's kind of new for us. I mean, this guy who we are interviewing, we have two people today. We have Ryan McKenzie from True Earth, who we've had on actually a couple episodes ago. He's the guy that went from 0 to 2 million in like 19 months. Apparently it's a little under 2 million, but 2 million is fine. And then we have Joseph, what's his last name, Kev? Wilkins of
pro-creative.com and funnysalesvideo.com. He has two different URLs.
Yeah, and he basically creates viral videos for his clients, and he's done some really cool stuff with True Earth. And
he did this one video that you can check on his website that's done, and you'll hear us talk about it. 16 million views on Facebook.
Yeah, and it's cool. You know, Ryan said that video itself is like, you know, quadrupled his investment or even more.
What did he say to you on the side? Didn't he say like he was pretty sure that everyone in Canada has seen one of his videos at one time or another?
Yeah, he basically texted me on Facebook. He's like, I'm convinced that everybody in Canada has seen my video once.
That's a really cool thing.
So
but it was a really fun interview. Yeah, I was a little concerned about having 4 people on, but it actually was really fun. It was a cool conversation.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it, and you guys are going to enjoy it too. But before we get into that, Kev, we got to talk about our favorite email marketing
platform.
Platform. I mean, these guys are growing like crazy. I mean, we said last episode that they had in May or something, they had 30,000 subscribers or customers, and now they're up to 50,000. And you know what, Kev? I was thinking that I don't know that we could say we're a big part of that, but I feel like we're a part of that. We get emails every single day almost. I have people in my Facebook course that talk about how they changed. We just got a new client that changed over to Klaviyo, and they're loving it. So speaking of that client, I think we got to do something for them today. But yeah, I mean, it has been a pretty cool thing to see these guys grow.
Yeah, and it's such a robust platform. It doesn't matter if you're big or small. Even say if you're $1 billion business or you're just starting out, it's like the perfect tool. It gives you the same data that any of these big companies are going to have. And especially with Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, email is going to be huge, especially with these rising ad costs on Facebook and all these other places. So if you go to e-commerce, I'm sorry, don't go there. Go to klaviyo.com/uncensored. You could sign up for free. You can bring 250 subscribers over. I encourage everybody to bring over a small list, test it out, see how it works, connect it to your store. They've made it super easy. And I promise you, the platform will make you money, and it will, it gives you all the data you need to be successful.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about it and people think about like switching platforms or doing something like that, they feel like this is this huge task. But they've made it, like you said, super easy, hooks up right to your website. Bring some people over and get started. That's klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored.
Yeah, and if you're running Facebook ads, I mean, this is the time. We're coming, Q4 and Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and you need some help with your Facebook ads. You got to check out my course. People are loving it. go to ecommerceuncensored.com/truth. Kevin and I are now offering 2 30-minute phone calls to help you with your ads in the beginning, and then we will reassess them and review them with you whenever you please. For your second phone call, we'll be able to check out your landing pages and see what's going on.
Very cool.
ecommerceuncensored.com/truth.
All right. So here's our interview with Ryan McKenzie and Joseph Wilkins. All right. Welcome to the show, Ryan and Joe. Thanks so much for being on.
Good to
Thanks
be
for
here.
having us.
Cool. So Ryan, why don't we just start with you, because you were on our podcast a few weeks ago, and that was episode 179. Why don't you give us an update on True Earth and where you guys are at?
Sweet. Yeah, I actually it feels like this is my podcast. I'm so comfortable here now. I can't remember exactly where we were 3 weeks ago because my short-term memory is pretty bad with everything that's always happening here. But we've grown quite a bit. We recently, just last week, were named the second fastest growing startup in Canada, which is a pretty big accomplishment. And what's even crazier is we were beaten by like a commercial B2B company. From what I've been able to dig through their records, it looks like we're one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing CPG brand in the history of the internet version of the list. I don't have the physical copies from before 10 years ago, but pretty crazy stuff. And it's weird because I don't sit around thinking about, we're moving so fast, and we are moving fast, but it's to sit back and like actually recognize it. It's kind of humbling. So that's the exciting news over here. We're still growing, and thanks to people like Joe, who's going to be on the show with us here, we're able to move even faster.
Well, sorry, Kev. Before we move on, because I just want to give a recap, because we're talking as if everybody listening to this has listened to that. And if you haven't, you should. But Ryan, last time you were on, you were doing $2 million a month, right?
Yeah, I think we just tapped 2 million a month.
Right, which was crazy. I mean, and you guys are like 18 months old.
Yeah, I think this is going to be our 19th month. I think maybe this is our 18th. I can't remember, but something like that. Yeah,
it's crazy. Is it okay that I said that? Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah,
or no?
I think we talked about that. Well,
Yeah, I think the name of the podcast was how you grew your subscription.
Yeah.
$2 million a month.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Yeah, I think we were just shy of that actually, but we were like very close. And then that month we did wind up beating it, and then we wound up beating it by like another 600,000 the following month. And the trajectory is very strong.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I mean, in such a short period of time, and you and I have spoken behind the scenes about. Oh, actually, we just spoke about like the tips and the tactics and the techniques to do that. And I think most people would probably be surprised at, how, I don't want to say simple, but like how simplistic the process was, right? It's not as complicated, I think, as a lot of people want to make it. I think it's just coming up with a formula that works and then just going big on it, right?
Yeah.
And I know Joseph was a big, or is going to be a big part of your future success, because I know that you guys have done some work together. And Kev, why don't you introduce Joe and exactly what he does? And
I mean, we after Ryan, we had the interview with Ryan a couple months ago. We connected on Facebook, and we've been kind of chatting back and forth on Facebook Messenger. Jason and Ryan have had a little bit of a bromance going on, so that's really cute. But about a month or so ago, we reached out to Ryan because we're looking for some video work for some of our clients, need some help and need some exposure. So he introduced us to Joe to reach out to him about some video, but he also said he'd be a really great guest on the show. So
he must have known that Joe was booked till next year. Probably what the case was.
Yeah,
because we needed video.
All that demand.
Right.
So Joe, why don't you just go ahead and give our audience a little bit of a rundown of what you do, and just a little bit of that.
Sure. So I run a video production agency based here in Salt Lake City. Started it 20 years ago, producing television commercials, infomercials. The Little Giant Ladder was our very first project, did $200 million in sales, just amazing. We were one very small part of that production, but it gave me the taste for what, the possibility is when you have really compelling video content to a big audience. But as time has changed over the past decades, people have stopped watching TV, especially channel surfing. So infomercials have just got less and less effective. And that's why a few years ago, probably 3 years ago, is when we started our offshoot company, funnysalesvideos.com. And basically what we do is we try to bribe people's attention to keep watching by using funny, shocking, just disruptive kinds of ads that are unlike anything that you'll see on your feed, that ultimately entertain you into buying our clients' products or services.
Right, Ryan, do you have a link to the video that that Joseph did for you? Because I think that's the epitome of what you do, and that is one of the funniest videos that I think I've seen on Facebook ever.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to the funnysalesvideo.com. I mean, it's right there.
True.
It's front
Right.
and center. It's the first video on there, so it's a really great spot. And you can also see a Ryan testimonial on there as well.
Yeah,
there's a really good looking guy named Ryan McKenzie.
Yeah. You know what? There's a good chance that people are listening to this actually have seen that video. It's funny. Like the thing that sticks out to me the most in that video, and it's just probably so stupid, is when the girl's mascara or eyeliner or whatever, it starts dripping down her face. I don't know why that just sticks out. That's like the fun.
I know why it sticks out, because
Why?
that's the thumbnail on the ad, and you've probably seen it 45 times.
More than that. I've probably seen it more than 45 times. I watched that video.
You know what's funny about that shot? It wasn't in the script. We made it up on the spot. We literally threw a bucket. And for those of you that haven't seen it, it's got 13 million views. It's right on the very homepage. You should probably go watch it before you watch the rest of this podcast, or it won't make much sense to you. But that shot wasn't in the script. It was something that when we dumped a bucket of water on our actress, her mascara ran. And so we came up with the idea on the spot, but we couldn't reproduce it because her mascara had already run. So that shot's actually a digital effect. It's not real.
Oh.
Didn't know that.
Ryan didn't even know that.
Did you?
Just to clarify one thing, it's actually about 16 million if you combine YouTube and a couple of different things. I just wanted to make sure that we say the right numbers.
Yo, you need to change it on your website because it says 13 million.
I guess I have to update my thumbnail.
Yes, you do. I think you do. Because that video has been all over the place, man. That video is just awesome. And, I guess, being in this industry, I watched the video or we would all watch it like a little differently than maybe the audience watches it, right? Like I'm trying to break down all the things that you're doing in this video that actually make it do what it does, right? Like it's funny, and there's like laugh out loud parts of that video for sure. But if you sit there and watch the video, you can certainly see that you are doing things intentionally that are pulling at people's like emotional heartstrings. And I think that's, Joseph, Joseph, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm calling you Joseph, but I think that's the part that most people miss when it comes to video, right? Like everybody's talking about Facebook ads, video, and they don't know what the hell the video is supposed to do, what it's supposed to say, how it's supposed to portray anything. So, I think that is a really good place for us to start, Joseph, because I think that video itself, and I'm going to be honest with you, man, like we don't pull any punches here. I think that's probably one of your best that I've seen, even on your website. When I went through most of those videos. That is probably my favorite. And it's not just because Ryan's sitting here. I just feel like the problems that video is solving seem to be really, really apparent. And it shows.
Well, that's a huge compliment. And obviously everyone wants their latest project to be better, because we should always be getting better in anything that we do. Every marketing campaign we come up with, every project that you do as a business should be better than the last one. So thank you. That's a huge compliment.
Absolutely. Ryan, I'm going to want to go, because I watched the testimonial on Joe's website, and you said something to me, or said something in the video that was really interesting to me. You were talking about video views and purchase conversions. I want to get to that. But I want to talk, Joseph, how does one go about creating a video like this? Like, are there steps? Are there things that need to happen? How exactly does that work?
Yes. So I need to, first of all, give huge props to the Harmon brothers, because about 3 years ago, I enrolled in their online university. I've been through every course that they sell. And a lot of, I'm not going to reveal any of their secrets, but a lot of what we do is based on the training that we've got from them, and frankly, mentorship through their Facebook group. And that's how actually me and Ryan met, is he's a member and I'm a member. And I posted a video that I'd done for Russell Brunson for a new product that him and his buddy had created. And Ryan saw when I posted that video for feedback and review. And that's a huge part of producing a video, is not just relying upon your own instincts. And I can talk about that in a minute, but I was posting that video within the community of marketers to say, give me some feedback. What can be better? What works, what doesn't work? And Ryan reached out to me and basically said, I'd love to do a project with you. That's how it all started. So big props to the Harmon brothers.
But not Ryan. No props to Ryan.
No, huge props to Ryan.
I just said, hey, Joe, can you give me all the ACH information for your bank account? I'm sending you some money. You can sort of the details after. I really like what you did.
Right. So that's cool, man. I mean, I think that's something that in our industry that I'll be honest with you, I'm a big Russell Brunson fan. I love his integrity. I think, he's one of the pioneers in honest marketing, just being honest. I feel like that's just his thing. And, he gives a lot of props to a lot of people. And you wouldn't think this guy who does $100 million a year or whatever, if not more, would give props where it's due. And I really appreciate that, because I think, we all need to learn. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, like, look, this is what I learned from. This is who actually taught me. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And on that word honest, I think it's really important that we start there. I can't make a video with anywhere near the success that Ryan's had if Ryan's product wasn't a genuine, honest, good product that solved the need. You can't make a video and try to sell snake oil. If the product is crap, your video is going to be crap, your results are going to be crap. You can't, in today's world of social proof, you've got to start with something that people are going to give positive comments on and reviews and shares. That just doesn't come unless you have a great product like the True Earth products that they have.
You'll fool some people some of the time. And that's
maybe.
Right,
You'll
right.
never get the results. Shameless plug. But I mean, basically, to answer your question, how do we go about producing a video? So there's a free ebook on our website that you can download that will go through every one of these steps.
What is it called? Because that's the funniest part of the whole thing.
I love that.
What is it called? How to make a funny sales video without hiring us.
Right, without hiring us. Right.
Highlight without hiring.
Right, and it's underlined.
Anyone can technically do what we do. You just got to have the right people to work together. Because I mean, basically the steps that we take every video through are research, brainstorming, scripting, comedy punch-ups, production, post-production, testing, and then the most important thing that most people don't get is that these aren't viral videos. You've got to fuel it with paid ads. Forget about going viral. You can't make a video that's really a commercial go viral these days. Facebook and all of the companies.
So you guys know, people are listening. Ryan's just sitting here emptying out his wallet.
He's emptying out his wallet.
It's Canadian money, guys. It's basically worth nothing.
But you got to fuel these videos with paid ads. That every big video that you think is a viral video that's selling something doesn't have its views from organic traffic.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how people think like I see this thing on Facebook, and Ryan, you could probably speak to this too. It's like, the secret is organic sales. Like, why? Like I could go from 0 to 2 million like that with paid ads. Why am I going to sit and wait? Like, do you guys know who what's his name? The copywriter guy. He's like a little irritable. Do you know what's his name?
Every copywriter?
Yeah, every copywriter. Oh, I forgot his name, but he says it the best. He's like, that seems like a lot of work. He's like, I don't want to do all that work, you know? So it's pretty interesting that you say that. And one thing I want to touch on real quick, because I'll forget, Joe, is Ryan, both of you guys can speak to this, right? If you take your video and you take Ryan's sales page, it really is just his sales page turned into a video.
Yep.
Am I right or am I wrong? Because I feel like that's again where people overthink all this stuff, right? They think they're like, like, oh my God, Ryan's doing, all this money, like he's making all this money. It's like he must know something that no one else knows, and it's really just taking something that works and then kind of bringing it over to kind of what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's also taking existing sales copy, but it probably is a reflection because Ryan is a good example of this, but a lot of companies that call me, they say, I want to sell my product, go to my website and learn about it. I say, no way. The first place that I'm going to learn about your product is from your reviews. I don't care what you think about your product. I don't care what you think sells your product. I care what actually does. And the best way to find that is by reading customer reviews, or if it's a brand new product, reading your competitors' customer reviews. And those become the building blocks for what is it that we're going to include in our video, because we know that it already resonates with our customers.
But their
I
customers.
think like, if we're going to step one step back for people who don't have a website yet, even like if you're even just creating your benefit statement on your site, the exact same thing applies. Like if there's a competitor, you can look at their products, you can look on Amazon at reviews. And if there isn't any other product in that space right now, go and look on YouTube and look up the problem, and then find the videos with the most views, and then look at the comments on the video because people are like, oh my God, I was looking for the solution for blah, 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 blah. There's like, if you are in a new category, there is still emotional cues hiding in places like YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, I think every client that we talk to, their product is always the best. They're never going to say like, yeah, my product's okay, but maybe you should ask some other people. So we were actually just looking at a Facebook group post that we had for one of our brands. And we finally actually just got a second to kind of go through them and read, because it was a question on the group that said, I forget exactly what the question was. But
something like that for anybody who hasn't subscribed yet to the journal, what do you guys think of it?
But
and
every single comment had like little bits and pieces of information that you can just pull from and create a sales page or a video. So even that, it's very eye-opening when you look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. And that's, I think, where Joseph, you bring that kind of stuff to life, really.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest compliment, and Ryan, we saw this time and again when we were reading the reviews. How many comments? How many comments do we have on that video, Ryan? 70,000?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Probably more than that.
It's a lot.
You respond to every single one, Ryan?
my wife, this is funny. She probably won't listen to this. So I can say whatever I want, but my wife's like on the couch like every night. She's like, you need to just like pay me to answer all the questions on these things. Because like the problem with having a video get this big, and I mean on top of all the other ads that we're also running, is it is like 4 full-time jobs to answer all the comments. It's just like it's almost impossible to deal with. But no, we don't answer every single one of them. My wife is very eager to jump in there and be the person that does it while she's, I don't know, kicking it on the couch.
She's very eager to get paid.
No, I mean, I think she would like to get paid, but I don't think. I feel like it's this, like from a completely different perspective. Like this project has really turned into something that, like a lot of my other stuff, she's like had no idea what the heck it was that I did, and now this is something that she can smell, feel, touch, whatever, and I think it lines up with her values. So I think it's something that I think she would be happy to participate in some capacity,
And I think that if your wife was here and I asked her what's the most often comment on this video, it's people saying, that's me. That I relate to that girl. I have the same problems. I would love to be friends with that girl. In some way, we connected with the audience in a way that no other video that I would guess that you've thrown out before has. Would you agree with that?
Totally. And everybody does love Talitha. They
Yes.
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the reason why they connect is because the script is taken from their own words. Like when they write their comments, they're basically laying the foundation for the script that I'm going to pick out and put into the video. And so that's why it's so important that you make your story sound like your customer is speaking.
Yeah, you're a visual copywriter is really what it comes down to.
Exactly.
Can I ask you a question, Joe? Oh, sorry. I was just curious. This is just from my own standpoint. When you work with a customer or a client, like such as myself, on multiple videos, do you take the comments from the initial videos and try to use like kind of in line with what you do with your other
Absolutely.
testimonials, line that up with the next ones to like almost
Absolutely.
like, so it's almost like your results get better and better and better the deeper our relationship gets?
Don't commit to that. Do not commit to that, Joseph. Do not.
We have this on tape now. No, yes. I mean, I don't want to give away the creative for our next video, Ryan, but think about what our next video is. There was quite a few comments that basically said, you know, that gave me ideas that became the genesis for our new concept. So that's all I'll say. But yes, absolutely. It's the exact same thing on follow-up videos. You've got even more ammunition with all of the comments that people have given you to come up with ideas for the next.
Now, who writes the script? Because for me, I feel like that's the hardest part of this process is writing the script. I could probably write the first 2 or 3 words. And then after that, like, hello, I'm Jason, or hello, like after that, it's like gone. I'm done.
Especially when you're trying to be funny. I feel like when we've done funny videos on our own before, it's always just funny to us. And we like laugh at it, but it's never funny to anybody else. So I feel like that's got to be a really difficult part.
So my average video has about 10 people that have written something in it. The whole key is you can't think that you know everything, and that even if something makes you want to wet your pants laughing, that's you. But the customer might not think that's at all funny. And so you've got to have what I call a brain share. In fact, I stole that term from Ed Catmull, the CEO of Pixar. He talks about every movie that they sit down to create, they start with a brain share of, you know, I don't know, 5, 6 people that are all invested, that all are very creative, but that together the best ideas come out. There's a reason why Saturday Night Live has a writer's room full of 20 plus comedians. I mean, I can't imagine a worse job than constantly knowing every Saturday night you've got to be, you know, filling an hour's worth of funny. I sweat over 3 minutes. But the more people that you have throwing ideas out, and the more bad ideas you throw out, the closer you are to that good idea. So it's about quantity.
Yeah, somebody said something, I forgot where it was, and maybe you guys can remember, but they talk about how like a guy like Kevin Hart, right? One of arguably the funniest stand-up guys. If you guys have not seen his Irresponsible tour, it is, I sit there and laugh the entire time. But, you know, they talk about how he gets up there and every joke is like perfect. And somebody said something, and I don't know if it was even referring to Kevin, but I'm just making it's like these guys would go and they go in these like little like coffee shops, or they'll go in these little comedy shows, and like nobody knows about them, or nobody, you know, it's a very small little thing, and like they'll test 10 jokes, and maybe people laugh at one. Okay, they take that one joke, then they go to another small little bar, they test, you know, like 9 other jokes with that one funny joke. They laugh at that joke. Now they laugh at one more funny joke. And basically all they're doing is like, they're just creating their big show, right? Like they're going to these little spots that nobody knows about, and they're testing and they're tweaking. And then they finally become this famous, you know, comedian who basically you laugh at every single joke. And it's really just a culmination of all these little gigs that he's done or she's done to make it funny.
And I'm glad that you brought up stand-up comedians, because most of the people who are in my brain share are stand-up comics. In fact, before COVID-19 hit, half of them lived on cruise ships. Like, they would literally be the guy that was filling the stadium at nighttime, entertaining the ship, and then during the day they have nothing to do, so they freelance for me on the side. And so, you know, tapping into people, they may not work for you, they may not be, you know, associated with you, but you can find people who have free time. I mean, the world of online outsourcing with Fiverr and Upwork and, you know, all of these online places that you can find people that just are looking for free part-time freelance work. Just find out who in your network, it could be friends, it could be family, or it could be, you know, professional comedians. You got to have multiple people throwing in multiple ideas. We probably throw out 100 ideas before we get to one good one.
So how do you filter them out? Because I'm sure you get all these ideas. Do you test them with people? Like Jason said, they go to these small comedy clubs. Do you share them with other people outside your group?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, just being honest, for Ryan's video, I would call my wife down because she's our customer avatar, right? And I would test jokes on her. I would email my sisters. I would, you know, we've literally stood on street corners before and stopped strangers and said, would you read this script? And then it's not about trying to make them please you, right? There's a tendency for like my friends to want to think it's funny. You got to throw that away, because the person that you're really trying to impress doesn't know anything about you, doesn't know anything about the true earth or whatever it is that you're trying to sell. And so you've got to have that cold traffic, basically, reaction. And so if the stranger on the street laughs at it, you know that you're on to a winner. But some, you know, you don't have the luxury every single one. There's some intuition that definitely comes into it, but the more you can test, the better.
Until somebody gives you their credit card, none of it really matters. like it doesn't matter how funny it is, doesn't matter how funny you think it is. You know, until somebody gives you their credit card and gives you their money, to me, you know, and that's why I don't ask anybody's really opinion, because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You know,
they give Ryan their credit card, not me.
Yeah, a lot of that Canadian dough.
Yeah, everybody's family, everybody's friends always want your products, always love it, until you say, well, this is how much it's going to cost. Take your card out. And they're like, I don't know.
Right. So Joseph, talk to us about why being funny matters.
Because it's disruptive. Every other video on your social media feed is, in my opinion, either boring or it's interesting, but it doesn't further a sale, right? It's just a random video that catches your attention. But when someone's really trying to sit down and say, okay, here's a product, and no offense, Ryan, but laundry detergent isn't the sexiest topic, right? It's not something that the average person goes on Facebook and says, oh, let me see if I can.
No, I mean, it's like the equivalent of Kevin, right? It's like, it's not sexy. It's not like something, it's like boring, that kind of, right?
Thank you so much. And by the way, if you guys got to watch this YouTube video, because Ryan's doing all kinds of visual things on the side here while we're all talking. He's rubbing his laundry detergent on his face, all kinds of things like that.
Right now?
It's hypoallergenic.
Yeah, you didn't know we were filming right now.
I didn't know. I'm glad I'm wearing pants. Anyway.
No, you don't have to wear pants.
Prove it.
That's more than I got. Yeah, and I think there's also another element to that, is like, I think people on Facebook are either bitching about something, they're either like complaining, you know. And I think like funny actually like cheers people up, and it's different than what they're normally seeing. You know, I think with Ryan's videos specifically, you know, with the witch and the throwing the water on the witch, and she's like, she disappeared. Like, I like you could just sit there and watch it over and over and laugh. It's like different than what you're seeing, like all this political nonsense and all this, like, you know, people complaining, like, you know, my man was with my sister's, but like, it's just like
wow.
Just come. You like that, right? It's just like.
Are you looking to be cast in my next video or something?
Yeah,
it's an audition.
You need a little funny fat guy. I'm there. Kevin,
no, but to your point, you're right. What all we do in our video is we try to hook people, right? So the first 5 seconds, if you watch the video, nothing to do with laundry detergent. And then, you know, we basically grab your attention and then we educate you. And then we know you're about to get bored, so we hook you again. And then we educate you. And then we know you're about to get bored, so we hook you again. And most of those hooks are either jokes that you're going to laugh at or something visually stimulating, like the bottles falling down. That's completely different than anything that you'll see on any other video, so you keep watching. And we basically are earning your attention, and the payoff is we'll keep educating you, which is leading you to a sale. But it's all relevant. It means something to you. You're not going to keep watching if nothing I say, if you don't care about it. And so that's why we obviously have drop-off rates of people that just don't care about what Ryan's.
But that's okay. That's
Exactly.
okay. You're right.
Exactly.
There's more. There's a little bit more to it too. On top of that, though, too, Joe. And I think that it's like if you have a video that doesn't have the humor in it, and you have a very specific target audience that's going to be interested in hearing what you have to say. So when you add that humor element, not only are you getting your very hyper targeted specific audience that's willing to go all the way through the video, you're also able to get that audience that might not have market awareness, because you're going to hook them in with the entertainment and they just kind of want to see where this goes. And like, it's like each chunk that Joe's talking about, that's like, you're hooking them back in again. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, we're just making it through this day. We're getting to the next step, right? Like, all we got to do is make it through the next 5 seconds, and then it's a new 5 seconds. And we're keeping people who might not have necessarily been super interested in our product engaged, so that we have the opportunity to, make them interested.
Yeah, because that video could have went a completely different way. That video could have talked about all like the sadness that the landfills create, and like how the destruction to the earth. Like, you could really, there are a couple different ways I think that video could have been made. And I think making light of things in a funny way, I think it just changes kind of your psyche. And for me personally, like, truth be told, I'm not a big save the earth kind of guy.
Blasphemy! Get off.
But I bought into it. Like, Ryan, my wife, she's nuts. You sent us that free 32 pack or whatever it is. She's like putting 2 of them in at a time. I'm like, you're gonna go through these friggin' things like in a week, and she did. So I gotta buy some more. But, she's putting 2 in at a time. I'm like, just trust me, it works, because we got the non-scented, so like she didn't smell it. I'm like, dude, there's no scent. That's why.
Well, it's really the only reason why we had Ryan back on, so we could get another free.
Right.
I think the other thing that the comedy element does is it makes it safer to share. Like, it's a serious subject and it's polarizing, right? I mean, you only have to look at the political landscape to see how polarized we are today. But this kind of a message, it's safe to share, because it's lighthearted, it's fun, it's not really political, even though there's an undertone to it, but anyone will feel good sharing this video, because if it does nothing more than make your friends smile, mission accomplished.
Yeah, and I think we're also, guys, I think we're missing another part of this, is like, it's rememberable. Is that a word?
It's
acceptable.
Memorable.
Yeah.
Memorable.
It's I'm a big copywriter guy. I love studying the art of persuasive copy. And they always talk about like, think about like the last friend you spoke to, you always are telling a story. It's like everything you do is like, dude, I was just at the golf course yesterday. Like, I hit this ball, I hit a tree, then I hit a squirrel, and then it fell right next to the hole. It's like everything we do to explain something is in a story format. And when you create a funny video like that, it's really easy for me to remember the video and then share it not only on Facebook, but verbally. Like, dude, go search Facebook for this video. It's just easier to remember, and the impact of it on me, because it's a story, kind of makes it a little bit easier to share.
Totally agree.
No, yeah.
So, I want to talk about length too a little bit. Length of a video, Ryan, before you
Oh,
get
easy.
into your dad jokes.
Let's not talk about
Yeah,
length here. This is four dudes.
I mean,
okay?
the girth of the video is important too.
Little
I
legs.
knew we were going to go there when I was thinking about that question. Because honestly, we had our Facebook representative for a while for one of our ad accounts, and we had some videos that we were using for one of our clients that were anywhere from like 2 minutes to 3 minutes long that we were using, and she talked us out of it. She said, you need to be around the 15-second mark, and
Right.
and so we did. We followed her direction, but what your videos do it kind of like it doesn't abide by those rules necessarily.
Yeah, but a lot of the stuff that Facebook told us, like it was hard to fight them because it's Facebook. But like I was seeing different things happening, and like,
Yeah.
it's like hard to say. Like I don't really. She's like, and then she would back it up. She's like, no. We looked over like our entire network, and we found that 15-second videos work the best. I'm like, but Laura, mine is like 5 minutes, and it's working better. So
I think the truth is like it depends.
exactly.
Like I think they pushed 15-second video because it gives you way more placements, it gives you stories, it gets you all these different other angles. And I think different people react differently to different things. And I think, but I mean, the one benefit to a longer video is the longer the video is, the more the buy-in you have from the person who's watching it. You also can make larger segments of like lookalike audiences and retargeting audiences. But I've personally found that typically the shorter 15-second clips generally do better like middle of funnel than top of funnel. So what Joe creates is, bloody amazing for top of funnel because you create such strong awareness of the actual product. Then those other videos, they're just basically demonstrating different use cases that might push them over the fence.
Yeah, and that's important. Go ahead, Joe.
So I'm not an internet marketer. That's not my job. That's why this partnership with me and Ryan has just worked so well, because he knows everything about that side. My opinion on that is that a video, people don't stop watching a video because it's too long. When was the last time you went to the movie theater? You stayed there for 2 hours long. Why? Because you were being bombarded with $200 million worth of special effects and great script writing and great actors. People stop watching videos because they get bored. And the average person that doesn't have the creativity to create what you need to capture attention needs a 15-second video because they don't have what you need to keep someone's attention. And so as long as the video is keeping your attention, as long as it's relevant and keeps advancing you down a story, it can be as long as it needs to be. And Ryan, talk about, we did a 3-minute version and we did a 60-second version of this video. Ryan, how did it compare?
The 3-minute version absolutely killed the 60-second. Like the 60-second one is still doing well in the grand scheme of things. But comparatively, I think it's had about 1.5 million views on Facebook versus about 13 million on the 3-minute version. And it's the 3-minute version slaughtered it. And, if you were to compare CPAs or ROAS or whatever fancy metric you want to use to compare it to, but I was not anticipating that to happen because not only do you have to try to maintain people's attention for that entire time, but you're also limited on your placements because the 3-minute videos can basically only go on Facebook feeds. That's it.
Yeah, but see, I like that though, Ryan, because like I'll be watching a video and an ad will come up for 15 seconds and it'll cut off in the middle of the guy saying something. And I'm like, how is that helpful for the advertiser? That 15 seconds in, he's about to say, like there's this one ad I see all the time about LinkedIn. And this guy is like, I used to work in sales and my sales director told me to go do, and it just gets cut off. It's like, what's
the guy with the annoying British accent?
Yes, that guy.
I see it all the time.
Right, and it gets cut off like in the middle. He's like getting ready to tell you like something really important in his video, like when he talks about running into a building and going up the stairs, and it's like right when he's about to tell you, it cuts off, and I'm like, this to me is just Facebook looking for more inventory and it does nothing for people. So for me, Ryan, I'm glad that I don't get caught up in that loop. I don't know if they work or if they don't work, but for me personally, I keep my ads out of there purposely because I don't want to spend money on 15 seconds of a video that's not doing anything.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, I can almost watch a 15-second video by mistake. It really doesn't give you any idea of the interest of the person watching. Like if I stop by accident on my Facebook feed, a 15-second video runs by like nothing. So I always felt like, you know, the 2 or 3 minute long video were really a good sweet spot, because if you can get someone to watch a 3-minute video, you can actually really see that they're interested in your product. Now, Ryan, because you're on the strategy side too of your Facebook ads and everything. What's your strategy behind the retargeting? Do you retarget video views on these videos with other videos, or how do you manage that?
I mean, do a lot of different things, but we do a lot of different retargeting for like middle of funnel. And I mean, obviously when we do promos, we do very similar audiences, bottom of funnel, but we'll do middle of funnel. We'll retarget with images. We'll retarget with video. We'll retarget with, like I have tons and tons of like 15-second videos too, from another agency that I work with, that are kind of like the bottom of funnel stuff. And we use a lot of those there.
But based on the original video, like, do you retarget people who watch it a certain amount of time, or so?
Yep. So we've got like segments. We got a 50% segment, 50 to 75, 75 to 95, and 95 up. And weird, kind of strange. The 50 to 75 does better than the 75 to 90, and then the 90 to 95, and then the 95 plus does well too. But yeah, we retarget both of those segments with like kind of all of our top creative for retargeting, which I can't remember what they look like right now, but a lot of it is like our origin story or more social proof, like reviews that I found on other sites, things like that.
And we're actually filming, funnily enough, the reason why we had to do this podcast right now is because I'm leaving in like an hour to go film a retargeting video for this campaign. The actress Talitha was so popular online, like everyone was saying, "Oh, we love her." And when she arrived on set, I mean, she's an actress; she'd never used True Earth before, and everyone was bombarding her afterwards, saying, "Does it really work? Does it really work? Do you like it?" And she's like, "I don't know. I've never used it." And so,
Oh shit!
yeah, so Ryan sent her a caseload of it, and she's used it for the past month.
Case?
Well, I don't know.
Sorry, Jason. You're just not as good looking.
So anyway, I'm going this afternoon to her house to do a little mini documentary to basically say, you know, what was it like being the star of True Earth? And now that you've had a month to actually use it, what do you think? And it's kind of one of those behind the scenes looks. And that's going to be, I think, a great retargeting video.
And that's interesting because we've been talking about your viral video, which is obviously a top of funnel video. You guys can also do middle of the funnel. You could probably do bottom of the funnel videos. And I think the important part in that is that structuring those videos differently at the different parts of your funnel, because they're doing different things, right? And maybe that 15-second video, Ryan, would work in some of those other placements.
Well, like Joe was saying today, and maybe this could be an upsell for your future videos, Joe. But he's they're going to, when they go to meet up with Talitha today, they're going to be filming some bottom of funnel scripts. So like we came up with like 4 or 5 different little bottom of funnel hooks, like, "Hey, did you know that there's free shipping?" And it's like, so you watch the video, you see Talitha, you become comfortable with her, and then a couple days later, you're like, "Hey, it's me from that video you watched the other day." You know what I mean? Like, right. I know you didn't buy yet, but there's free shipping. There's a 30-day money back guarantee. Like, you should really take me up on that offer before it's it's gone. Whatever. Like,
what are you waiting for? How come you're still watching this video?
Yeah, he's shooting those today, and we'll see how those do. But I got a pretty good feeling that because of like the quote unquote AdSense, I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
Yeah, that's as a Firestone thing, right? AdSense.
Yeah, I never used to believe in it before. Like people always used to tell me that buzzword. I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. But I think especially with having such an awesome, like an actress that everybody really related to. I think that having her do these like retargeting ads is going to be really good for bottom of the funnel, and I think it's going to add to the value of what Joe's already done. So we'll see how that does, Joe, and then you can start sending me my commission checks on the on all the people that we send for the secondary upsell package.
Well, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that many because he doesn't have any time to film their videos.
I know, I've sent Joe like 100 people.
Oh, geez. Joe, I have a question for you. By the way, that copywriter that I could not think of before was Ben Settle. You guys familiar with Ben Settle?
Yes. I was subscribed to his thing before. Whatever it's called.
Calls himself like the 6-figure hacker, whatever, right? Or slacker. Sorry, slacker. 6-figure slacker. And he talks about all the time like how organic is just a lot of work. But Joe, question for you. I'm just, getting into this copywriting side of things. I'm really learning how every single movie follows the same exact format or formula.
Yep.
From start to finish. So, number one, I if you heard of Storyboard, this guy talks about it a lot.
Donald Miller, StoryBrand.
StoryBrand, yes, StoryBrand.
Yes,
Donald Miller. Right. He talks about it a lot. Russell Brunson has been lately talking about it a lot, talking about how like there's always this like character starts off cool, then he's introduced to like some sort of problem or villain. Maybe you can explain it better. Hero's journey, right? Is that what it is?
Joseph Campbell's hero's journey.
And that was pretty interesting to me because Hollywood has figured out how to hook us, tell us a story, do all these things. And do you follow that same sort of script-ish formula in your videos? Because, I mean, obviously you can't, I don't know if you can introduce some sort of villain, but it is a story, right? You're telling. Do you follow that in your videos?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I listen to Donald Miller pretty religiously, and I totally buy into his philosophy. And it's really, it's about connecting that story, but ultimately it's about three things. It's about a hook to get your attention. It's about telling the story of the problem. What is the problem? And I'm glad you brought that up. If you look at the video that we did for Ryan, it's 1:20 before we mentioned True Earth. 1:20.
It's a long time.
It's a long time, but we have to establish what is the problem. If in 15 seconds, Talitha had said, here's the solution, it's True Earth and you need to buy it, I have no connection to that story. So you have to have the journey to show what was the problem, why is it a problem to the character, but then relate that to you. Why is that also a problem to you? And then you can bring in the product as the solution, as the hero, right? The hero of the story shouldn't be your character. You need to make the viewer the hero by buying the product, right? And so yes, everything is all structured, and pretty much all of my videos follow around about the same structure or theme. Sometimes we'll do something completely different, but you've got to know the rules in order to decide when to break them.
Yeah. Russell's huge. I mean, I bought Russell's trilogy. I can't get enough of him for some reason. There's something about Russell Brunson that I just, his transparency, the detail in which he explains like every little thing. I know like it could be confusing to someone just getting into the industry, but I feel like for like someone like myself or Ryan or, even Kevin, like, I feel like there's just so many little nuggets in there that are just, and that's one of them. Like I was reading, this one right here. Well, shit. I don't know where the hell it is, but, oh yeah, here.
He simplifies things. He simplifies things for regular people to comprehend. I think that's what makes Russell Brunson special.
Yeah.
Right. And he's not afraid to give you everything. Like he doesn't hold back, right? Like he knows that, like, for example, Joseph, let's bring it back to you, right? So I downloaded this, how to create a video or whatever, a funny video without hiring us. Now, look, I could read that friggin' thing 1,000,000 times. I'm not going to go out and do what you do. And you know that. Right? You
think
know that,
that's my lead magnet.
right? But you know that I'm not going to hire, talent. You know that I don't want to do that. I want to use my money and I want to pay somebody to do that. But, it's a way to hook people in. And that's sort of like the thing where like with him is like, he knows that he could tell me till I'm blue in the face every single little thing that he's ever done. And I'm just not going to want to do it. Like, I'm going to just want to hire someone to do it.
Yeah, and anyone who goes out there and reads your ebook that's going to go try and put all these pieces together and do it themselves, you really don't want to deal with them anyway in the end.
Yeah. And then, we at the end of the day pay for convenience. And I don't want that headache of figuring out a video. I just don't want it. Like, I want to pay someone who knows what the hell they're doing and let them deal with it. And I think that's, honestly, I don't know how brilliant you thought that headline was, but I think it was a pretty brilliant headline, because I think you're going to get a lot of people to say, holy shit, like, why is he doing this? Not realizing that, they're not going to go out and do it. And if they are going to go do it, that's just not, your avatar, so to speak. Right? Because
he's also building trust and authority, because when you give away all your secrets, you prove that you know what you're talking about. And like what you said, people are lazy. They don't want to do all this stuff. So they go and they read all of that and they're like, oh, it's a little bit too complicated for me. Who's going to be the trusted source that I'm going to go and give my money to? Oh, wait, I just read this whole PDF on exactly how to do this. Obviously, this is the guy. This is the guy that I want to do this. Like, he just gave me all the secrets. He must be altruistic and a good enough person to share this. He must be probably amazing to actually, like, what do you get when you pay the guy money if he's giving you this stuff for free, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, that's always how we decided that we were going to structure our podcast too. Like, we weren't going to keep any secrets. We were going to just tell our experience, exactly what we do in every situation, and
good and bad.
Good and bad. Absolutely. And a lot of people say, they'll be like, usually people don't tell me, people don't come on a podcast and tell me when they failed, but we decided, like, we're going to talk about that, because that's,
there's more stuff to talk about, because we fail a lot more than we're successful.
Exactly.
So.
And it came back. It's come back in as far as clients and revenue and things, tenfold.
The law of reciprocity. Yeah, something with a recipe.
Reciprocity.
Giftology is the book, I think.
Right.
Yeah, reciprocity. Yeah, I can't say that word.
We get it, Ryan.
Right.
I'm just trying to be entertaining here.
Yeah, you definitely
keep people listening for 5 more seconds.
Are we boring? We boring you?
Well, just gotta spice it up,
No, but that's awesome, man. Because I think, like, for me, personally, I know all the tips, the tactics, I know all the techniques. For me, like, understanding how to be persuasive, how to make someone do something, or I think that is so, for me, it's like so interesting, like how you could get someone to stop what they're doing and actually take action and actually buy something. And that's where this whole, persuasive writing and persuasive videos, and it's just mind blowing to me.
Especially with all the nonsense, like you said earlier, Jason and Ryan, the three of us were on a message earlier this week, just talking about how the increase in Facebook ad costs have like blown up during this election. And you need something like this that's going to divert people away from all this nonsense and take their attention away and kind of give them some relief in some sense from all the shit that's going on.
You're going to say something?
I was just going to say, it was crazy. Ryan, do you remember the day that this video launched? I was actually on a film shoot in Phoenix, and I was like in between takes and looking at my phone, and Ryan's messaging me, telling me how many views and how many. I think at one point you messaged me and you were like, there's 10,000 people right now on our video. I mean, that kind of, to think that something that we between us created is like touching that many people, and if nothing else is just making people smile. I mean, I love that thought that I'm making people happy, as well as, helping Ryan's business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there was more dopamine that day than I've had in a long time. Like, I was like that day, but you know what is funny, just kind of tied to that too, is, and I've seen this happen to me before, is in other ads, is that, like, we launched it and it was doing really well in terms of views and everything like that. But the actual CPAs weren't amazing in the first like whatever 12 13 hours, because I launched it in the afternoon instead of first thing in the morning like a dummy, but I was just so excited to get it out there. And then the next day in the morning, I woke up and I looked at my phone, and the numbers were still kind of bad. And I'm like, oh man, this sucks. Why isn't it working well? And then it turns out we had accidentally like turned off our Facebook pixel or something like that. So I fixed it at like 11 in the morning. And then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, well, this has been working this whole time. So
You just didn't know it.
And it was just like all the dopamine that was ready to come out of the cage when we opened the door, it had crawled back in there and had like got into this pent up energy, and it was just like letting
and the
it
length
out into
and the
wild.
girth.
Oh, it was, and I think Joe probably got a message from me every 30 seconds for the next 48 hours, in excitement as things took off. But it was wild.
And
And now you completely believe in his stuff.
the most exciting for me was when Ryan basically said, it's been a few hours and we've already paid off the entire cost of this video.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean,
And you're like, I should have charged you more.
right? Shit, I did. I screwed that up. Yeah. Ryan. It's funny because Ryan, every time I've spoken to you about this video, it's like I'm not gonna say specifics, but you're like, dude, I spent this, but I made this. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I got to do this too. I got to buy one of these videos too. And then now you just told us you can't do it till next year. That ain't going to work. So,
We'll get in line. That's no problem.
We'll just get in line. You're right. We'll get in line.
Just download my PDF and do it. That's
What I'm going to do. But I think that, that's a really good lesson for people. It's like, everybody's worried about what it's going to cost me now. Like, why don't you figure out how you can leverage it to, I heard someone say millionaires don't worry about the money they're spending. They worry about how to make more money. Right? And that's I feel like, Ryan, when you first came on our podcast, you're like, yeah, I don't know, man. I just do a Facebook ad and I put my credit card in and I do $50,000 for the day. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, I just move on. I try to do something else. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's why you're successful, because you're not getting tied down by the stupid bullshit. You're just trying to figure out every single day how to get a little bit better. And if you lost $50,000 today, how do I make $150,000 tomorrow? Right. And obviously not everybody listening to this has that kind of budget, but there is a lesson in that. Even if it's $100, everybody is worried about, I lost $100 today. Okay, try to make $500 tomorrow. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we're not a funded business. I think people probably oh, well, that's a laundry detergent business. They probably had some backing. They've got venture capital, blah, blah, blah. We literally built this thing off our own money, zero funding. And I wasn't a multi-millionaire, millionaire, whatever you want to call it before we launched this product. We just took our time scaling up, and we've gotten to the point now where when we have a creative that is flying, we do not hold back. It's we basically operate under almost a feast or famine kind of environment. We're always eating throughout that entire period, but when we see something that is working, specifically Joe's video in this example, I spent $90,000 in a single day, which is by far the most money I've ever spent on Facebook ads, in the history of me doing them. In June or July, I think I cracked 60 one day, and it was on an origin story type video, which also worked really well on a whole nother level. But $90,000 in a day on Facebook ads during an election in the United States is a lot of money, and seeing really good return on ad spend. It's just, I'm kind of just rambling here, but the point is that if you have something that's doing well, don't be afraid to pour gas on it, because it might not do well again in a few weeks, a few months. Take advantage of those opportunities to feast.
Yeah, I had a guy in my Facebook group, my Facebook course. He's like, yeah, I spent $73 and I only got back $250. I turned the ad off. I wrote him back. I said, are you nuts? Wait, you just spent $70. You got back $250. You should be spending $1 million. But Joseph, let me ask you a question. Because, you said you're not a marketer. You said that, you're a video guy. how are you going to now turn this around and use it for yourself? Because, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, isn't that like the next thing? I mean, like, I know you can't take any more people, but you need to figure that out, man. Like, hire more people. You got to do something.
And this literally is something that's keeping me up at night, because I don't want to grow faster than I can kick out quality content, right? And so I definitely have hired quite a lot of people, but right now I don't need to market, because all of the referrals that are coming from the success that we're seeing, I mean, I've been on some pretty big podcasts lately, and I'm getting a lot of people that are calling in off of those. Ryan's referred a bunch of business, and frankly, business finds you. If you do the right thing for the client, business just comes to you. So that is a really good question, and one that I have been thinking of. I mean, my whole goal with this agency is to be the low-cost provider of high-quality content. There are companies that do better stuff than I do, but they're charging a lot more than we charge. And I don't ever want to kind of become the big machine. And so every project that we do, it's like birthing a child. Like, it literally took us 6 months to do this video, actually probably more than that, Ryan, from the first time you reached out to me. And so each child, each video is like a Freudian slip, right? And so I still want to keep it fairly small so that I can control the quality. And frankly, after 20 years of doing boring TV commercials and infomercials, I'm having the time of my life right now.
I will say one thing to that. And I used to think the same way. But market conditions change. Things in your life change that will change how you think about that. For me personally, like I loved marketing, and now I love watching other people do the marketing, right? Like, because I have a 6-month-old, an 8-month-old, I have a 7-year-old. I'm not trying to give you advice. All I'm saying is, like, I thought the same exact way, but then, like, you start changing. I'm 43 years old. Like, I don't want to be doing what Ryan's doing. I know like what Ryan's doing, like what you're doing every single day is like, you're grinding every single day. I mean, I know you're kind of around my age, Ryan, but like, I'm at the point now where, like, I want to go play golf. Like, that's what I want to do.
I'm only 39. I'm only 39. Okay.
You're 39.
Right?
Like,
don't pigeonhole me in the 40s yet.
I'm the old guy on this chat. Just so
right. So you're older than me. Okay. So I'm giving you advice. Maybe I should shut up and let you give me advice.
That's kind of hard to believe. You said you started 20 years ago. It sounds like you started looks like you started when you're like 10 years old or something.
Maybe I have good genes. I'm 46.
Yeah. Well, you do have good genes. But anyway. Yeah. For me, I used to think the same way, man. And it's just like, shit changes, It's just like, maybe when you're 55, you're not going to want to, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, our agency did the same thing. We grew up really big about a year ago almost. And we're like, oh, okay, we need to stay.
We don't like this.
This is a bit much. But you're right. I mean, it does start to affect the quality of things as well when you grow that big. So we had to take a step back, and we kind of like, let's settle down a bit, and we got to make this the way we want it to be. And I think that's kind of where you're at with it.
Well, I think the other good thing is that now, for the first time in a while, I get to cherry pick my projects, right? I love being a part of companies that are doing good in the world. And because of the associations that Ryan's involved with, I've got a lot of eco-friendly companies that I'm now working on videos for. And again, it's great feeling to work on a really good mission-based video, which can only be a good thing online because people love to share good.
That's a huge thing too, as an agency, being able to pick who you work with, because we've worked with some really
assholes,
knuckleheads. I'm sure you've been there. And so when you get that back, we're going to give you a proposal because we want to. Like, we can step away from this project. We don't need it. And that's a really good place to be.
Yeah, I found that one thing, and I don't know anything about neither Ryan or you, Joseph, but, Kevin's a control freak. And I had to get him out of that, like, control freak mode, because you only could do so much as a control freak, right? Like, you cannot look at every single element of every single thing and think that you're going to be able to sustain that. So,
Still working on that.
Yeah, you still work at that. You're annoying. That's why I just stay away from you.
Yeah, you know, it's a good analogy for that. Like, because I used to be the same way. Like, I used to have my hands in every little system and touch everything, and thought that nobody else would be able to do whatever it was that I did better than me. And this kind of helped me get to the point where I was able to hire people and let go of things. And that's, if I'm able to, if I score myself on a particular task, and let's say that I'm able to do something at the rate of like 100, and I hire somebody else and they're 80% as good as me, and they can do it at 80. So if it's just me and that person, you know, I'm getting 20 more points than them. But if I can go and hire 5 people who all score 80 out of 100, you know, for every hour that group puts in versus me, they're doing 400 and I'm doing 100. And as soon as you can look at it from the perspective of how do I get leverage from other people, even if they don't do it as good as you, they're still like, you know, 400 is better than 100. I don't care what kind of mathematician you are. You're, you know, as long as you have systems and guidelines in place to maintain quality, like the leverage you get. And I'm not telling this to you specifically, Joe, but just kind of like talking about that point is like 400 is always gonna be better than 100. So if you can allow yourself to give up whatever it is you think that needs to be done exactly to the quality that you think you can do it, and just monitor the person doing it for a little bit until you can get them in line with how you know, your guidelines, you gain so much more leverage on what you're able to achieve. Because like, I don't want to say like humans are leverage, but people give you the ability to do more when you can put trust in them.
So yeah, I'm gonna simplify that down to what you just said, because what you just said, there's no way I can do that. I need a calculator. I need all. Russell Brunson said this, and it really just hit home with me. He's like, you have to measure the opportunity cost, and the opportunity cost is, if you try to do everything, what opportunity are you missing out on the one thing that you're really good at? And he said something like, I can cut my grass. Like, I'll probably do it better than the guy I hire to cut my grass. But that hour or two is going to take me to cut my grass. I could be running something else that I'm really good at. And I'm going to make a lot more money during that time that I'm going to save, you know, by not paying that guy. See, and for me, that's how it's Ryan, we're saying the same exact thing, just in just two different ways. For me, that's how it hit home, hits home. It's like, I'm trying to do something I'm not good at. Like, Joseph, I want to hire you. I don't care if it costs me $100,000 to hire you. I know that during that time it takes me to try to learn every little aspect of that video. I'm going to be able to do something that I'm really good at, and I'm going to just use my money to pay you to do what you're really good at. And hopefully I can make more than what I'm paying you. And in the end, it's going to work out.
And this is the Control Freaks Anonymous segment.
I'm talking to Kevin. This is all about Kevin because he doesn't buy into it. But
this is an intervention for me.
It's an intervention for Kevin. But Joseph, we know that you have to go, man. And I know, like, we'll sit here and keep going. And at some point, we got to stop.
Well, this is awesome. I have thoroughly enjoyed this.
I love this kind of stuff. It keeps me away from staring at Facebook and getting aggravated that the freaking election's killing my ads. But yeah, this is great.
Yeah, we can go on and on. I mean, before we got on, we talked about talking about the 8 steps, and we just, I don't know if we got there or not. And maybe we could do this again. Totally. It'd be nice to have you on again and actually maybe discuss those.
Go through the 8 steps.
Yeah.
Let's have me on again when we release the next video for Ryan and we've got double the numbers.
I'd like to figure out a way for us really to work together. I'd love to.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I mean, not next year, obviously, Joseph.
Sounds good.
I don't want to get too.
How do we put our name on the list?
Yeah, how do we put our name? We got. Is it like buying a car? I got to give you $100 and like wait till it's released.
Something.
That is a good idea. That is a good idea.
That is right. Like I was looking at that new 2021 Corvette. I don't know if you guys have seen it. The Z06 Corvette. It looks like a Ferrari. And all you got to do is give them $100 and like they put your name on the list when it comes out.
Same with my Cybertruck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cybertruck, same thing. Did you do that?
And the new Hummer. That's today too. I think that's today they announced it.
The Bronco.
Electric Hummer.
I didn't see that. Wow. So why don't we all put $100 in each? We'd get like 4 or 5 cars.
Do it.
Sold.
All right,
right.
cool.
Thank
Thanks,
you guys so much.
Awesome. Really
Joe,
awesome.
Great meeting you, man. Ryan, thanks so much for being on.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, guys.
That was a fun interview. And I got to tell you guys, if you get a chance, go over to our YouTube channel and watch it, because Ryan was being a little bit of a clown during the whole thing. He was like taking money out of his wallet. He was throwing money around his desk. When we were talking about like spending money to get, how viral videos aren't really viral organically. You have to pay to get your thing out there. He was throwing money all over. He was wiping his product on his face. He was doing all kinds of weird things.
Yeah, he was
Cool
funny.
guy.
He sent we messaged privately outside of the group, Kevin. He's like, dude, I feel like I get funnier and funnier when I come on your podcast. I'm like, well, I'm glad you think so.
I think it's funny because Joseph, I know he's been on other podcasts. He's been on Perpetual Traffic. He's been on some of the big name podcasts. And I feel like every time we have someone, Molly Pittman, Ezra, they always feel like it's a different feel. Like it's not like so structured. When Joseph, before we got on, he said that, he had to go through this list of things he was going to talk about when he goes on podcasts. And we're like, yeah, we just talk. And we didn't even touch on the things that we talked about before we actually got on the podcast.
Right. I asked them the things I wanted to know.
Yeah. Which I think it's, I go back and forth. I'm like, well, is that the right way? But I like that it's different. So I hope you guys do as well. So before we go, I don't know what you're waiting for. If you haven't signed up for Klaviyo already.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially this time of year. Klaviyo.com/uncensored. Sign up for free. Bring 250 subscribers over and test it out. See what's going on.
Email, SMS, everything you need to grow your sales.
There is a reason why they have 50,000 subscribers, but customers. The platform is amazing
and growing. So that's klaviyo.com/uncensored, KLAVIYO.com/uncensored. Sign up for free.
And if you would like some help with Facebook ads, or you're looking to scale, or your ads aren't working, go to ecommerceuncensored.com/truth. Sign up for my course. We are giving you 2 30-minute phone calls. We will review your ads. We'll help you create them in the beginning. We'll help you with the landing pages. And then after you have them running for a while, we will then help you tweak them.
Nice. Love that.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, guys, for listening. This has been episode 190. As always, you can check us out at ecommerceuncensored.com. We'll talk to you guys real soon.